Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Chaos Child. I was like, what the fuck are we playing? Oh my god. Anyway, and we were just, this is at, hi, yeah, now you're talking nice? That's all we ask for is you talk nice. And Bird, I'm gonna ask you not to stand on my neck because your fucking toenails are god awful. Anyway, so we're just finishing, this is after our date, not date, whatever it was with Arimura, and I think we're still Arimura, because, hi, right here, anyway. The way he panicked or tried to force himself to pretend that he was calm. She found herself laughing when she remembered that, and she laughed when she saw herself laughing. Stop! To Arimura, these were all new experiences. She should have been exhausted from all the walking she'd done today, but strangely, her steps were light and quick. That's nice, you can talk like that. So, that's why she was sure that someone else had done it. Huh? Just as she went to go down the stairs, she felt a small impact on her back. God, I hate this bird. 2 hands. By the time she realized she was in danger, she'd already missed a step. Yeah! I can't scream right now, so. The world spun. Bird, your fucking toenails digging into my neck on top of listening to your douchebag friend scream. I can't handle it. The world spun. She could see the sky. God, I hate him today. There was a dull pain in her arms and legs. And she could hear someone running away. It took a while for her to realize it was Serica. That someone had pushed her. It was absolutely Serica. It wasn't a prank. Someone had tried to kill her. Absolutely Serica. 2008. Koichiro's her dad, right? And what's wrong? You're not going to eat? Oh my, I made all your favorites today. What's wrong, Hina? You're not feeling well? No, I'm fine. Let's eat. I know, you have a boy you like. Huh? What? Is that true? You know, when that happens, you always have trouble eating, right? Oh my god. Stop it, or you're going in your fucking cage and you're going in the other room. Stop. Go. Go to your cage. Stay over there. Not that it makes a difference. But you need to fucking stop. I am sick of listening to you fucking scream all day. God, where are the days when you were fucking nice? Why do you have one day out of like an entire week where you're actually fucking good? God, you're such a pain in the fucking ass. Make it so hard to fucking like you, and I'm trying so hard to not hate you, but you make it so easy to hate you because you're a fucking douche. God. I don't really hate him, but I do at the same time. Like, I feel bad that I really strongly dislike this fucking bird because he deserves to have a happy little life, but he won't stop screaming and I can't handle it, and he's just going to be miserable for the rest of his existence because he makes me miserable. He makes everybody miserable, and it's kind of sad. It's sad. All we ask is for you to play nice and not scream like a fucking douchebag. See? Like, look, you're sitting over there now and you're chirping nice. Why can't you just do that? Yeah, why can't you just be nice? Not everybody wants to pay attention to you 24/7. And the fact that when I go over there to talk to you, you get all vicious and aggressive like you don't want me to talk to you, but then you're fucking screaming because you want people to pay attention to you. Fucking pick a lane, bird. Preferably the quiet one. I don't care if you're chirping and happy, but you don't know how to be happy. You're just a miserable asshole. And then now I'm yelling at him and he's being happy. The fuck? Bird's a dick. Koichiro's our dad, right? Hinai, tell me about him. Is he a good boy? What's his family like? What does his dad do? Oh, come on, honey. You act like they're planning on getting married. It's not like that. You're right. I'm sorry. Your dad forgot himself for a moment there. What does his dad do? We're like 10, Dad. I don't fucking know. Oh, honey, but I do hope that someday Hina meets a nice man, just like I met you. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. I need to fix my hair. Mom and Dad were smiling gently like always. Nothing had changed, but Hinai knew that it was all a lie. It was only by chance she'd found out. On her way back from a school trip, the bus had been stopped at a light. She'd looked out the window and seen someone who looked like her mom. At first, she thought she must be mistaken. She had to be wrong, because the woman that looked like her mom was walking down the street arm in arm with the young man. She looked again and again to make sure that she was wrong. But the more she looked, the more certain she became that she was right. And this is why she wanted the truth to come out, because her whole family's lying and she's caught. Makes sense. And I wasn't young enough anymore to not know what that meant. She wasn't sure if she should tell her dad. If Mom was lying to Dad, if Dad was smiling while she lied to him, and that was just it was just horrible for him. But she was wrong. Dad was cheating too. Hey, whatever keeps him happy, I guess. They're both cheating. Brother, there's something I want to talk to you about. Ina, what's up? Hanai was still too young to keep her parents' problems to herself. The only person she could rely on was her big brother Shingo. She told her brother everything. About Mom, about Dad. I fucking hate him. Of course he'd been shocked. At least that's what she thought. She was... Unless what he... Oh yeah, no. Okay. She was totally surprised by his next words. I see. So you found out too, huh? Huh? Her brother knew. Her brother was the one who taught her not to lie, but he'd been lying to her too. It felt like a terrible betrayal to her. Like, I understand her thought process, but at the same time, you have to believe that, like, your brother wouldn't have told you you're too young and that would have been a lot of burden on you. Oh my God, stop it! Everyone was lying. Everything around her was built on a lie. And I wanted the truth. But what was the truth? She was too young to know. But there was one thing she did know. Her brother had been hurt too. He'd been suffering alone, keeping a secret that he couldn't share with anyone. Okay, good. I mean, at least she realizes that. From that day on, the only truth she had was her bond with her brother. They were siblings, sharing the same pain. And that bond was what kept her going. And I became even more dependent on her brother. And her brother responded by coming to love her even more. When Hanai was just a year or two from graduating elementary school, her brother said to her, "Once I graduate, I'm leaving this house. You should come with me." From that day on, those words were what kept Hanai going. Her bond with her brother and her hopes of escaping her parents' lies. And that became her new future and her truth. But 6 years ago on that day, that dream was destroyed. There was a dazzling light and a great shaking, and she found herself buried in the rubble. And her brother's probably dead. And that's why she lives here with, and not with her parents. By the time the week was over, the return of the new generation madness was forgotten, and everyone was talking about some counterfeit food labeling that had happened last week. The criminals had taken advantage of the computer problems caused by the crash of 15, which made it a hot topic. Of course, @Channel was still talking about it, but it had started to die down. In fact, since the media hadn't reported anything about her, the message board had a new set of theories about Riko Haida, and that was mostly what they were talking about now. Time passed whether we wanted it to or not, and we students still had to go to school. I fucking hate this bird. Hey, Miyashiro. Yo. Oh, it's just you, Ito. What do you mean it's just me? What are you doing anyway? What am I doing? I always come this way on the way to school. There's nothing unusual about it at all. Really? You've been looking around for a while, though. Figured you might be watching for someone. I hadn't even been thinking about Ito, so I didn't notice him until he'd spoken to me. If I'd have seen him, I would have gone into the school building. I can't read. So who are you waiting for? Well, I was waiting for you. For me? Has there been some new development in the case? No, not really. Then what? It's Artimura. Huh? I turned around and saw Artimura right behind me. Oh, that was her. Oh. Hey, Artimura. Huh? Oh, Ito. Artimura, ciao? Hello, Miyashiro. I raised my hand like an idiot. The morning autumn wind felt cool against it. Huh. I forced myself to match her greeting. Why was she being so cold? What happened to your hand? I looked at her hand and saw that there was a bandage wrapped around it just under her sleeve. Well, I tripped on the stairs. I looked closer and saw that she was concealing some purple bruises with foundation. Anyway, I'll be going. Artimura seemed a little out of it as she said goodbye and headed into the school building. What's her problem? She's always so rude. So, what did you want to talk about? Huh? You were waiting for me because you wanted to talk about something, right? I love you, Ito. I'm just kidding. Why the hell would I stand here and wait for you? Huh? What are you talking about? Poor fucking Ito. Come on, we better hurry or the bell's gonna ring. What the hell is going on here? Poor Ito. Feel so bad for him. That was my question. She'd been smiling when I said goodbye yesterday, and now she was acting like this. In my head... Artemura's late. What's going on? Who's there? This voice. It's Artemura, isn't it? Aw, how come you guessed right? That's so dull. I mean, I can tell, obviously. You can, huh? Artemura... Oh, right. Miyashiro. Ciao. Ciao. That's how it was supposed to go. Nothing negative was supposed to happen. And instead, she'd acted like that. I don't get girls. What? I almost leapt up when I heard a sudden yell. What's wrong, Takuru? Oh, it's just you, Kurusu. Don't scare me like that. I'm the one who got scared. What were you just talking about? Oh, no, I must have been talking to myself. No, that was nothing. We don't know what Kurusu's power is. I don't think she ever told us. Oh, there you are, Taku. I'm betting this bitch pushed Artemura down the stairs. I don't know why they don't show it. Like it's supposed to be some big mystery. You know it was her. I felt a bad premonition. Sarika's timing was a little too perfect. We're so much more in tune with Sarika being shady as fuck in this one, though. Oh, right. I better be going. Hey, I heard you went on a date with Hina yesterday. A date? Is she talking about Artemura? Takuru, did you go on a date with Artemura? Crap, now I had a real problem. No, forget that. How did you know, Onoe? Because I saw it. Definitely pushed her. You saw it? You saw us together? Yeah. Wait, Takuru, that means you really went on a date with Artemura, doesn't it? It wasn't a date, we just went downtown together. That's what they call a date, right? This was awkward. Even if we weren't related by blood, who knew that having your sister find out about your dating life would feel so awkward? So, how did it go? What did you wear? Where did you go? What did you do? Did it go well? Whoa, Nan, calm down. But it's Takuru going on a date as his big sister. I'm worried. For one thing, it's a heck of a lot better than following all those gloomy news stories all the time. Don't you think so, Sarika? If that's what Taku wants. What Taku wants, Taku gets, baby. What? Oh, God. Creepy if we said that. What was going on here? I knew that girls like to talk about romance, but I didn't think they'd like to talk about it this much. So, Taku, how'd it go? How'd it go? We just hung out for a while. That's no good. You can't just hang out. It's rude to Artemura. If Sarika or I were sure how to handle Kurusu's excitement, I'd be like, look, I don't even know if it was a date. If it was, cool. If it wasn't, cool. I don't know. And then suddenly she spun around. Oh, right. I have to get going. Kurusu, where are you going? I have to go see Artemura and properly introduce myself as her boyfriend's sister. Wait, it's way too early for that. That's right, Nan. You need to set a date for that stuff. That's not right either. Anyway, we just went to buy a phone and then walked around for a bit. Really? Really, so please don't get any weird ideas. I see. Why did she look so disappointed? She's like, I thought you were finally going to get out of the virgin zone, virgin. Way to kick a poor kid when he's down. So are you, bitch. Stop it. Wait, Nan, why are you so desperate? Because if Takuru has something fun to do, he might stop chasing that weird case, right? Kurusu's gonna have an accident and fall down the stairs now, too. It's funny that Sarika pushed Artemura. I'm assuming she did. But I'm curious as to why. She's like, whatever Taku wants, except for Artemura. You can't have a girlfriend. I have to be your girlfriend. Like, are you jealous? We didn't invent you to be our girlfriend. We invented you to just give us whatever we wanted. And if what I want is Artemura, then that's what you get me, Sarika. Follow directions. God. I'm gonna imagine somebody who can follow directions. Oh, so that's it.
Of course that's not all. I have a better reason, too.
A better reason?
It's because, Armor is kind of in a similar place to us.
A similar place? What do you mean?
You didn't know. Her parents are alive, but her apartment collapsed during the earthquake, and her brother,
the one that was friends with Kakita?
and now her parents both live a little bit outside of Tokyo. She lives with some relatives nearby and goes to school from their home.
Hi. See, when you talk like that, it's nice. You talking nice? Just be a nice birdie now. This is all we want. We just want you to talk like that. You can be as loud as you want if you're talking nice. And I know every once in a while in the midst of you talking, you scream a little. And it's okay because it's scream chatting. And it's not the same. It's scream chirps. It's yakking. And it's a little bit better than the goddamn shrieky screams that you make. We don't like the shrieky screams. Mr. Neelix gets yelled at when he makes an ugly scream noise. You're going to get yelled at, but if you talk like this, yeah, you're talking like this is nice. Just talking like this is nice, birdie. This is a good birdie. This is what we want. We just want you to talk like this. Why you insist on screaming like a fucking douchebag? Yeah? You talk nice? She's being a good bird now? I was going to start screaming any second.
Betty heard from a girl who went to the same elementary school as her that she really loved her brother, and after he died, she got really depressed.
I had no idea that Artemura had a past like that.
It's not that I'm feeling sympathetic. I just want her to hang in there, too.
She suddenly grabbed me by the hands and looked straight into my eyes.
If there's something you want advice on, come to me, okay? Got it?
Yeah. Her demeanor was so overwhelming that I almost took a step back.
And don't get any ideas about going after the case again. Got it?
Fine. When I nodded, she smiled, satisfied, and finally left to go to class. Wow, none really scared me. It's your fault for bringing it up in the first place. Like we're being a kind of a dick to Sarika in this route. I approve of it. After, we were friends with her, and I do love her. Don't get me wrong. She was like, she's a good friend. She's cute. She's dumb. Whatever. And then she's like shady bitch underneath, and you're like, good job, game. But now knowing that she's a shady bitch underneath, there's a little hostility here. I'm not going to lie. She's still adorable as fuck. You know what I mean? She's so fucking cute. But, I like being hostile to her. And I like that Takuru's hostile to her. He's like, God damn it, Sarika. Bitch, you better be careful. She's gonna kill you. It's good. I don't know anyway.
Huh? Is it?
It is.
But Taku, are you sure there's nothing between you and Hina?
I feel bad being mean to Ito. He's just trying to be our friend. He was mind-controlled. I don't blame him for that, okay? He was mind-controlled to kill Yui. I don't blame him for that. He would never have done that on his own. Sarika is a disturbed, shady bitch, so I can, hate her underneath and be hostile to her and enjoy the hostility to her. I feel bad when we're hostile to Ito. I do not feel bad when he's hostile to friggin' Sarika. It's kind of fun. No, there isn't. Taku, at least not from what I'd seen this morning. That's right. It was stupid to get so excited just because I'd gone to hang out with a girl. God, I hate this bird. I was trying to be nice to him, and now he's being a fucking cunt. We'd just gone shopping together. If I got excited and started obsessing over dating and girlfriends, I'd be no different than half the idiots in this school. Meanwhile, you get all those magazines and you're obsessed with... It wasn't like those wrong-siders who spent every minute of the day thinking of girls. Okay, but kind of. I spent most of my day gathering information and then having weird fantasies about girls and reading those stupid magazines. I love it. We were so in denial. And I felt bad for Kurusu, but I was starting to get a little bored with the situation. Everybody seemed to think that the arrest of Riko Haida meant that the case was winding down, but I couldn't be sure that it was over. He had 5 minutes of being good, and now he's just going to scream and make me want to punch a wall. If Aida was responsible for all the murders, then why did she have to kill all those people? Was it just because they were psychics? Or was she working for some organization? And how had she killed them? Why didn't she use her pyrokinesis? There were still tons of questions. I didn't have time to obsess over every little thing some girl did. Which meant that I had work to do. I had to go over the case again. If I was the head of a journalism club, I needed to act like a journalist. Right. I opened the door to the club room, ready to get started. Oh, ciao, Miyashiro. Artemura, what are you doing here? I was waiting for you, of course. I figured I could meet you if I came here. You came to meet me? Yes. I see. No. I just told myself that I didn't have time to waste on girls. I'm sorry about this morning. I was thinking about something and I got distracted. I was pretty rude, wasn't I? No, not really. No, there was no point in lying to Artemura. A little, yeah. You're right, but I had a good reason. A reason? Well, I said I got hurt, right? Artemura rubbed the skin just above her knees and winced a little. I could still see a bandage under her sleeve. It didn't look that bad, but maybe she was worse off than she looked. You tripped on a staircase? You're okay, right? Yes, I wasn't hurt that badly, but feels like someone pushed me. Pushed you? You mean pushed you down the stairs? Who? Oh, no, it just kind of felt that way, so I can't be sure. But it was bothering me, so I was really distracted this morning. I'm sorry. So, what about after you were pushed? You weren't attacked or anything? That's right. I just fell down the stairs, and when I looked up, no one was there. I see. If someone did push her, then who? Could it have something to do with the case? This is the more... Oh, great, we have a mystery. Who pushed Artemura? What you doing? You gonna just, stop screaming and be a dick? You gonna play over here? You gonna play on the table? You come over here? Ah, come over here. You come over here to bite me. Yeah. What you doing, nasty bird? Hi. You gonna be nice? Because normally you're being a bit of a dick today. Yeah? You gonna be nice? Play over here? You can play nice? You can chew on the rock? Whatever. Chew on the rock if you want. Look, if the rock is poisonous to you and you're chewing on it, it's your own damn fault for being an idiot. I think it's fine as an outdoor rock. What you doing? He's like, I'm just sharpening my beak so I can bite you harder with and draw blood. Dick. Could have something to do with the case. But compared to the other cases, that'd be pretty sloppy. Was it just chance then? Or maybe she'd been mistaken. Anyway, I'm leaving. Artemura picked up her bag and started to walk to the door. Huh? You're leaving? That's right. I just wanted to apologize for this morning. Oh. If you want, I can stay a little longer, maybe. Huh? Or should I just go? No, you can stay, but... Really? Good. Yeah, I feel like we're definitely flirting here. Yeah, but we're gonna go negative, so this is tragic. I'm sorry, Mashiro, we're ruining this. I started to feel awkward, but it wasn't a bad awkward. It wasn't that bad at all. It's kind of nice. Oh, right, your injury. Huh? You said it wasn't anything bad. Was that true? Oh, right, I'm fine. See? Artemura lifted her skirt to show me. And then the good one is going to be really pervy. I went to take a closer look, and the next moment... Vagina dentata! Vagina snakes? What is happening here? I went to take a closer look under her skirt. A vine reached out from under her skirt and wrapped around me. Vagina vines. Okay. Awesome. What's going on? You know, some people enjoy this kind of porn, Miyashiro. Probably Ito. You fell for it, Takuru Miyashiro. You're... I am Ohina, the last surviving... Kunoichi? Kunoichi of the Hazakura Ninja Army you destroyed. Hazakura Ninja Army you destroyed. I've been waiting for the hour of my revenge. Hazakura Ninja Army? So you've sealed your own memories to forget, huh? That must have been nice. I forgot? Suddenly there was a splitting pain in my head and I saw a strange vision. I like how it's not even just this weird ninja army fantasy thing. It's the vagina vines that jumped out. An old mountain village. Rising smoke. Falling men and women. And a laughing man. Me. What was this? Do you remember now? Those are your memories. You destroyed our village all by yourself. And now it's time for me to have my revenge. Oh, that's like legit real smoke. Like, it's not cartoony. It's like computer generated. Like, this is. Oh, we're hallucinating? Hallucinating in our hallucination? Artemura's body suddenly went blurry before splitting into several copies. Hazakura ninja magic! Clone technique! Now, which is the real me? Can you tell? The one with the vagina vines. Vines sprang forth from all directions and wrapped around my neck. And then... bubbles appeared from underneath her skirt. Oh, she has She has a bubble vagina too. Wow, she's talented. Impossible. That technique is. Everything that these bubbles touch melts away. Oh, okay. Acid bubble vaginas does not sound fun, but like, you know, if you had like a bubble blower in your, but you're like, look, I have a bubble blower. This is some weird shit. We imagine some weird shit, but using it costs the wielder their life. I will gladly die to wreak my vengeance on you, Takuru Miyashiro. Farewell! Our delusions are fun sometimes. Ah! No one says wreak my vengeance anymore. What kind of old movie was that supposed to be? Nobody liked that stuff these days. Clearly, well, I think Ina might. He was like, oh, I read that magazine he had. When I came back to my senses, I was looking straight at Arnemura's healthy thighs. Come on, Miyashiro, don't stare. I knew that I should probably look away, but my instincts overcame my reason. But suddenly the door opened without warning. Huh? Oh. Thank God it's only Kazuki. She won't tell anyone, but she's like, Everything froze for a moment. My face close to her at that. It's not what it looks like. Maybe. Kazuki appeared for just a moment before she vanished. A moment later, I heard a furious pounding on the walls. It's not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like, Kazuki. And that's right, Hana, it's not. I said it's not what it looks like. October 22nd. That was fucking great. 4 days had passed and someone had pushed Artemura down the stairs. Nothing else had changed for her since then. How were things between us? Well, maybe not too bad. Probably. And tomorrow was the 23rd, the day of the brain-dead incident 6 years ago. I spent the whole day online looking for new information and found something interesting. It was the news that the burnt headless body of a man had been found. You're really going? If you don't want to come, you don't have to. Artemura's expression was clouded, but she shook her head. After school that day, we'd gone to visit, none other than Kunasato. I wasn't very happy about the idea, but it was the best way to find out about the news I'd seen this morning. Of course, Detective Shinjo probably knew more about the case, but he worked for the police. Even if we'd been attacked by Haida earlier, he probably wouldn't be willing to give us the latest information. But Kunasato had built up a relationship of trust with the police. And it looked to me that between the two, she had the upper hand in her relationship with Shinjo, which meant that she might know something. I just sneeze. Okay, here we go. But are you sure about this? I asked Artemura one last time before we went inside. I mean, this is a girl's apartment, right? You're really planning on going in alone? Sure, she'd probably be more likely to listen to me if there was another girl here, but I didn't really like her either, and honestly, I didn't want to rely on her help. But I had no choice if I wanted that information. And I wasn't really relying on her help. I was using her. That's not what I mean. Then what do you mean? I mean, no, never mind. No, hey, you don't even know where her room is, do you? Artemura stormed ahead of me angrily. I followed after her into the apartment building. Yes, she totally likes us. And she's like, you're gonna go? to see this girl alone. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to get information out of her. We're totally clueless. And she's like, oh my God. You know what, though? She should be relieved that we're so clueless. Because she'd be like, so you're going to this girl's house alone. You're going to be alone with this girl. Yeah, she's got information, so I figure if I ask her these quick blah, 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 and you're like, you are either really good at lying and you're a shady bastard who's like thinking that if you're lying, yeah, no, I'm totally going there to get information. It'll be awesome. And you bang her, that I'll be like, oh, he's too naive to even figure it out. Ha ha ha. So you're either that shady and manipulative and that much of a douchebag, or you are literally that clueless where you're like, yeah, I'm going to go ask her some questions. Why? Never mind. We are that clueless. And Artemura knows that we're that clueless. She would be able to be like, if we're like, yeah, I don't really like her, but I got to get information out of her. She'd be like, you're going to fuck her, aren't you? She'd know if we were lying. Like, who's there? It's me, Takuro Miyashiro. Come in. Kunisada let us in much easier than I thought she would. I'd been worried she'd turn us away at the door, but I guess I'd been wrong. Don't mind the mess. Her room was still in terrible shape. I could see the Shibuya news screen on her PC. She looked like she was editing something. Hey, she's wearing normal clothes and no lab coat. Cute. Huh. So you're here about the burnt body, right? Kunisada spoke before we even had a chance. How could you tell? Two gigalomaniacs have kindly come all the way to my tiny little apartment. Can't think of any other reason why you'd bother. Huh. She's always so sarcastic. As you suspected, we thought you might have some information on the body that was found last night. Yeah. There was no point in pissing her off if it meant we didn't get the information we needed. I quickly moved between them. This wasn't really something I was good at, but I didn't have a choice. How much do you know? Just what's on the internet. The location was a multi-purpose building in Hatsudai. My stomach is growling so badly, I'm starving. The victim was a man between his mid-30s and late 50s. He'd been burnt so badly his body had turned to ash, and the police had no idea who he was. They were working to ID him. Being quiet over there, being angry? That much had been announced this morning. I'd look back over it just in case before I came here, and nothing new had come out. And then that's everything. There's nothing else. Does that mean that they've issued a gag order over it? No, the police don't seem to know anything else themselves. The systems are still unstable because of the solar storm last month. When the victim's not from Shibuya, it's hard to get an ID. It's an example of what happens when you rely too much on computer systems. Since Artemura hadn't spoken up, what Kunisado had said was probably true. So, what's your take on this, Kunisado? Are you asking whether I think it's related to the return of the new generation madness? Yeah, I suppose I am. I have no duty to answer that question. I figured. I thought she might say that, so I didn't feel surprised or disappointed. But surprisingly, she asked me something instead. What are your thoughts? My thoughts? You've been following the case closely, so you must have some opinion. Let me hear it. I hated to tell her just because she asked me, but there was no point in arguing. I decided to just tell her what I thought. There are several differences between this case and the others. First, the location. All the other incidents had taken place in Shibuya proper. Hatsudai was part of the Shibuya ward, but most people considered it part of Shinjuku. There's also the age. All the previous victims had been in their teens or early 20s. This time the victim was middle-aged. He was closer to Dad's generation than ours. So you think it's unrelated? I think it might be a safe assumption. The fact that the body had been burnt to death made me think of Riko Haida. But Haida was in police custody right now. She couldn't be responsible, unless he died like a week ago and they just found him now. And today was the 22nd. It was one day too early for the brain-dead case. If that's your answer, then there was no point in coming to ask me, is there? Then there have been no confirmed cases of a gigalomaniac over the age of 30, which means that if nothing else, the victim wasn't one. In other words, it's either a coincidence or a copycat. Either way, it has nothing to do with the other cases. It's a relief to hear that it doesn't. You're lying. Huh? You wish the case had gone on for a while longer, don't you? I hadn't realized it, but if Artemura said so, then maybe I did. Maybe I wanted something to happen to break the boredom. I still don't feel safe, because Artemura squirmed uneasily. It made sense. Just the other day, someone might have pushed her down the stairs. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. No, I may be a little too sensitive. I'll walk you home. Thanks. Let's hold hands again. Artemura held my hand the whole way back. Ugh! We like dating her, but we don't know we dating her. Her hand felt tiny and very frail. The next day was the 23rd. We're like the awkwardest boyfriend ever, but it's kind of cute. That was the day of the brain dead incident 6 years ago. Nothing interesting happened in Shibuya that day. November 6th, 2009, Friday. Inai Artemura was in downtown Shibuya when it happened. Her brother's birthday was in a week. What should she get him for a present? He was being so good, and I thought I wasn't going to have to beat him senseless. I would never do that, but, I imagine it in my head, just so, it makes me feel better. She had taken the allowance she'd saved up over the last several months and gone into the city alone. Every year, she and her brother would both celebrate each other's birthdays, just the two of them. And I would give her brother a present, and he'd say thank you and give her something back, even though it wasn't her birthday. It always made her so happy. What should she get him this year? She wanted to get him something he would keep forever. Something he could wear would be best. Clothes were outside her budget, and gloves or a muffler would only be useful in winter. What about a wallet? Just when she decided to go into a slightly grown-up department store, the huge earthquake struck Shibuya. It was the disaster they called the Shibuya earthquake. And I didn't really remember the moment it happened. 1 second there was a bright light that flooded her field of vision, and the next second everything had changed. The walls of the buildings had collapsed. The asphalt had split open, and here and there she could hear people moaning in pain. It was like something out of a dream or a nightmare. She didn't know what had happened. She quickly dialed her brother, but not only did he not pick up, she couldn't even hear it ring. Since she had nothing else to do, she decided to head for home. Only when she stood up did she realize that she'd been hurt all over. Her knees were cut open, she'd hit her back, she'd scraped her cheeks against the ground, and all of Shibuya was in a panic. The buildings looked like they could fall down at any moment. A car had smashed into a store and was giving off black smoke. Everyone in Shibuya was running to the station in search of a way out. It was hard for tiny little Hina to go against the crowd. She was almost pushed down many times as she headed for home. She didn't honestly remember how long it took her to get back to the condo where she lived. She just remembered that she'd felt so tired. When she saw her condo building, all that exhaustion vanished. The thing is, if you were ever in a natural disaster like that, where buildings collapse and shit, I'd hope I'd die instantly. Fast death, just dead. Not like I'm trapped under a building, waiting and hoping someone rescues me and slowly suffering in pain and agony and dying slowly over the course of days, waiting for or bleeding out or some shit. No, just dead. Crush my head or some instant death. Just take me out if that's gonna happen. I don't want to die slowly, painfully, agonized. Thinking you're never gonna be rescued and you're bleeding out slowly, and it's just, that sounds traumatic. I'd rather just go fast. Because either way, it's gonna be a traumatic death. I'd rather the quick, fast traumatic death than the slow, painful traumatic death. You know what I'm saying? The building hadn't collapsed, but it was tilting and looked like it could fall over at any time. The people who'd escaped from inside were standing a good ways away and looking up at it. Some people tried to go inside to get their valuables. Others tried to stop them. She saw her parents there. Mom, Dad. Hina. Hinai, you're safe. Maybe they'd happened to come home early, or maybe they'd raced over here after the earthquake. Either way, they were injured, but all right. But there was someone missing. Hey, where's brother? She looked around and didn't see him. Where is he? Is he still at school? Or with a friend? Her parents didn't answer, but she could tell where her brother was from where her mom was looking. No way. The condo building was tilted and could fall over at any time. Who knew what was going on inside? Her father slowly shook his head. Your brother is already... You're lying! You're lying! Hinai, no, Hinai. I can't. She dodged past her father's outstretched. Oh, that was her dad saying it? Never mind. No, I think it was her mother. I couldn't remember the name. So, her father's outstretched hands and ran into the building. Of course, the elevator didn't work. She ran up the stairs, which were only barely still functional, and headed for her condo. All the exhaustion she felt was totally gone. All she was thinking about was her brother. Here's the thing, unless he's crushed underneath something, if your son's body, you would have dragged him out. I just feel like the parents would have been, oh my God, take him out. I don't care if he's dead. And they would have pulled him out, just like not being like, oh, he's dead. Let's forget it. Let's go out. It seems really insensitive. But maybe you were just in a state of shock and you're like, he's dead. And then you wandered out and you have no idea how you got outside. But all she wanted was for him to be safe. Again, unless he's crushed under something, then there's no way you could get him out, you know? Their condo was a disaster. There was no sign left of the life they'd lived. But that didn't matter to her. Brother, where are you? She screamed again and again. She heard a small moan from under the rubble. He's not dead. You just left him there. She ran over and saw her brother. Brother! He was alive.
Hina, I'm so glad you're safe.
Her brother was alive. What are you doing, brother? We have to get out of here. She swallowed her words. Her brother's body was half buried under rubble and he couldn't move. Just wait, I'll move it. Here's the thing. You should have watched for fucking telekinesis. But I feel like if you thought your son was still alive and even if you knew he was going to die under that rubble, you wouldn't just leave him there. One of you would have stayed and someone else would have gone out and been like, I'll get someone to come help or whatever, and someone stays with him if you were worried about it. You know what I mean? Shut up! She tried to lift it off, but she was far too weak to even budge it. It's impossible, Hina. Just get out of here. This place is going to... What are you talking about? I can't do that. She tried so hard to move the rubble that her nails broke and blood began to drip from her fingers. But she still kept trying. You're all I have. You're my only brother. I hate this cunt bird. Her mom and dad had betrayed her. The only bond she had, the one truth she had, was her brother. It was the one thing that kept her going. But... Stop it! Stop it! Do not just fucking scream to get attention, you little fucking asshole. You can goddamn play by your fucking self. No one wants to play with you right now. You don't even want me to play with you. You're just a fucking cunt. I'm sorry, Hina. That's not right. She didn't know why her brother was suddenly apologizing. We're not really brother and sister. You and I aren't really brother and sister. It was a sudden confession. What was he talking about? They weren't brother and sister. I mean, you can go play with your douchebag bird friend instead of just sitting here being lazy. Doesn't really matter even if you do. If you go over there, he still just fucking screams. He's just an asshole. Fucking douchebird. They weren't brother and sister? What did he mean? He kept talking, even though Hina didn't understand what he was saying. Like, I know you're capable of chirping nice because you've been doing it today. Fucking do that instead of screaming. God, I hate you. Hina, you weren't mom and dad's daughter. Your father is another man. You're lying. Suddenly, the whole world went black. And then he does this, and then he's chirping nice. And it's like, why don't you just chirp like that? I wouldn't hate you. I would actually be like, wow, you're nice. You're being cute. I like you. I like you like 20% of the time. Like, 20% of the time. 30% of the time, I hate you. Like, I hate you. And 50% of the time, I forget that you exist because you're quiet. Which is fine. Because technically, I don't mind you then. Because you're quiet. And I'm like, oh, right, he exists. But it's the 30% of the time he's doing that I fucking loathe him. It's only 30% of the time, but it's more like 50% of the time he does that and he screams. But then he does this and he's being nice. Now he's chirping nice. He's like, whatever. I always thought I shouldn't tell you, that I should hide it until you grew up, but I'm so... Brother! I'm sorry, Hina, for never telling you. It was a shock. She wasn't her mom and dad's daughter. Her brother wasn't a real brother. That's not true if they're half brother and sister, because he said her mom had Hina with another man. So technically they both had the same mom, so. But the biggest shock to Hinae was that her brother had been lying to her. After all the times he told her not to lie. He'd said he wouldn't lie to her anymore, but he'd been concealing something so important. She couldn't believe it. No. No more. It was a cry from her heart. Somebody tell me, please, somebody tell me the truth. Somebody fucking shut this bird up. And then she saw something in the corner of her eye. It was twisted and beautiful. It was like some kind of enchanting creature, but cold, like something inorganic. Something like a sword. Like a butterfly wing. It's so pretty. I'm sorry, Hina, but it's true. I was going to say Hinai, and then it was Hina, so that came out weird. But suddenly she knew he was telling the truth. It wasn't just intuition. She knew. She knew somehow. For some reason, she knew that his words were true. As she stood there in shock, suddenly she was knocked backwards and almost fell to her feet. It's dangerous here. Go, Hina. Brother. Please, you have to survive. There was truth in his cry. She staggered back just as the roof in front of her fell in, crushing him. The dust rose up so thick she couldn't see her brother anymore. Brother! Run! Run, Hina! Those were the last words she ever heard him say. Maybe he's not dead. I feel like in this case he's dead. He got crushed. It's not like you crushed his legs where he could survive without his legs. It's like you're basically crushed from the torso down. Like that's going to be hard. All your internal organs crushed, slowly dying. October 26, 2015, Monday. It's interesting that in Arnemura's route, oh no, I stopped killing people. Even though we're bored. You know what I mean? I guess because she's feeling like this isn't what we want, we don't want this anymore, but even though we're bored, like, you know what I mean? It's weird. Hey, did you hear? I did. It's a girl from Class D, right? I was in her class in first year, and the whole school was talking about a new incident that had taken place. As you all know, there's been a new incident. And the victim was a second-year student at Hekio Academy. It was a girl from our school. Because of that, we'd had an emergency assembly this morning. The school staff was busy dealing with the second big incident after the Watabe case, and most classes were study halls. They should have just made it a half day, but since the media were outside, they kept us in until the full day was over. It was only after school that we were able to have our meeting. Here's what we knew about the case. According to the police announcement, the murder took place sometime after 11 p.m. last night. But that's on the 25th, so it's not, you know what I mean? Shibuya was always pretty busy, even at that hour. But the area where the murder took place was isolated, and at times could be almost empty. Let me guess, is it a blonde girl and it looks like Arnemura and she killed the wrong person? The cause of death was blood loss. The victim had been stabbed multiple times with a sharp blade, and the area around her was said to be a sea of blood. It sounds pretty violent. Like, Sarika was pissed off. Die! What's your take on this? Like always, Ito was the first to answer. You mean, do we think it's part of the Return of New Generation Madness murders? That and any other thoughts you have. If you're asking whether it's related, it clearly isn't. Why do you think so? Because it's the wrong day, for one thing. And the method's too ordinary. It's not bizarre at all. Kazuki was actually involved in the conversation for once. She nodded in agreement, but Kardusu shook her head.
What are you talking about? Stabbing someone multiple times with a knife is plenty bizarre.
No, that's true, but I mean more, like, what were they going for with it? Like, the whole atmosphere of the thing. Basically, there's nothing that weird about it. I mean, it's violently weird, but it's not. True. It's a lot different than eating your own hand or cutting open your stomach and putting a speaker inside. Right? So I don't think it has anything to do with it. Evidently, everyone agreed with Ito's opinion. Miyashiro, what do you think? Unless they mind-controlled Ito to kill Arnemura, but he killed the wrong person, and then now Ito... Oh, Ito, no. I just want to believe that, like, there's going to be a path where, like, Ito isn't mind-controlled to kill anyone, and he's just fine. Because, like... You're like, I feel bad for the people that died and everything, but Ito, like, You have to live with being a murderer, even though you were mind controlled, but no one will be like, well, he was mind controlled. It's like, well, no, you're just going to have to go to jail for murder. And it's like, you'd still go to jail for murder anyway. But like, he got the bummest rap in this whole thing. I mean, we got a bum rap, but we kind of created the problem, to be honest. You know what I mean? Kurusu, it's not really fair that she died, but she was a gigalomaniac, so she was kind of involved. Like, Ito's just trying to live his life and was forced to chop up our sister. Like, he did not ask for this at all. Anyway, I feel the same way you do. Unfortunately, it's probably not related to the other murders.
Hey, Takuru, what do you mean, unfortunately?
Crap, I'd accidentally say what I was thinking.
Listen to me. Someone tried to kill you. You might have ended up just like the victims those deaths you're enjoying so much. Do you understand that?
I do. Here we go again.
And what's more, the victim this time was a student at her school. A fellow student is dead. This isn't the time to try to entertain yourself.
She ain't wrong here. But I think it's funny how, like, she's, like, being momsy and, like, what the fuck? I mean, in this case, this last statement, absolutely, I'm with you. It's not the time to entertain yourself when someone is dead. But sometimes you feel just disconnected enough. And it's either because you didn't know them or that's the only way you can handle, like, processing this kind of information is to totally disconnect yourself. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, like, if you were connected and, like, oh my God, it took the weight of a murder or a death or something every time someone died, you would die. You would never have made it this far in your life. You know what I mean? You can sit there and be like, I feel bad for this person's family, and you can empathize. You know what I mean? Like, wow, that sucks. But you can't fully feel the weight of the impact of someone's death or murder every time because you would have cracked and broken and, like, there's no way. Like, the world is an awful fucking place. Sometimes you have to disconnect from things and be like, yeah, that is, whew, okay. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just have to. Although, we are really insensitive, so, I mean, I can't blame her for telling us this. But it is kind of funny how she's always like this, and we're like, oh, here she goes again. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But then you're going to try to tell me we're in love with her? I mean, obviously not in this route, but like ever at all. We are so fucking over her goddamn bullshit. Like, every time she opens her mouth, he's like, ugh. Like, I mean, I guess it could develop, but like, it's still weird to me. This is like how we're like, every time we're like, God, Sarah, you're an idiot. And it's totally feasible. Yes, I mean, he's like, could I think of Sarika that way? Like, maybe I'll drug her and like whatever. And then he's like, yeah, no. Horny coming into play and like imagining these sexy scenarios with every woman around us. Understandable. But the actual having legitimate feelings doesn't work when it's Sarika because of the way he talks about her sometimes. God, she's so stupid. Oh my God, Sarika. Jesus Christ. We barely tolerate her, which is funny. So like if there was a route where we were in love with her, it'd be like, that's unbelievable. You barely tolerate her. She's your friend and you like are friends with her, but sometimes you just act like you don't even like her. You know what I mean? You know, she does it to herself, you know? And we do the same thing with Kurusu. Like, look, we love you. You're our sister. We appreciate you. But Jesus fucking Christ, you're a goddamn nag. Now, do me? Like, but we're going to end up in love with her in her pound. And maybe things will change in that and it'll work out better. But it's like, the way they've always had the relationship between us is just does not sit right with me. It's like, no, we don't seem like we would ever be in love with her aside from the, I'm a horny boy and if I see her panties, I'm going to be excited about it. But like, just because panties, you know? So, anyway. You don't have to keep telling me this. I get it. I don't think you do, though. Why was Kurusu here at the newspaper club and a student from her school was dead anyway?
Our job right now is to write an article telling all the students at the school to be careful. That's what the teachers asked the newspaper club to do. That's why we're having this meeting. Don't forget that.
I know that.
And,
Student Council President Kurusu, please come to the Student Council room immediately. I repeat, Student Council President Kurusu. See? They're calling you.
All right, I'll be back later. Don't forget what I said, though.
Kurusu nagged me one more time before she ran out of the room.
It was nice of Nan to come when she was so busy, huh?
It just shows how little she trusts you. No, or maybe it shows how much she trusts you. Which is it? It doesn't matter. Let's get back on topic. Thanks to Kurusu's interruptions, I'd forgotten how much we'd covered. Right. The victim was a second-year student here. Arimura Onoe, did either of you know her? Arimura's here? I talked to her a few times in first year. She didn't come to school a lot.
I didn't really know her. The kids in class said that she'd skip school to go mess around a lot.
Since the murder had taken place past 11 p.m., it wasn't hard to imagine. But it's kind of scary, maybe? The place where it happened is near the route I used to go home from school. Yeah, see? They killed her thinking it was her. Is it? Yeah, remember where I got pushed down the stairs? It's near there, so it's kind of creepy, maybe. Somebody had tried to push Arimura down the stairs. Given that it was near the scene of the murder, maybe it was just some sicko trying to kill little girls. Well, it's got nothing to do with the others. It's mean to say it, but it might have just been some girl out late who got stabbed by some pervert. Or maybe she got into a fight with a lover.
Huh. There's no way. She was in high school, right? If she had a lover's quarrel, that means that a boy and a girl, right?
How naive are you? High school students can have lovers quarrels.
Can they? Do they? Do they quarrel? Tell me, Taku.
Well, they're not kids anymore. Maybe they do.
I see. Do you have quarrels, Hana?
Hana's like, I have to have a lover first. She frantically denied it. Yeah, that wasn't going to happen with Kazuki. Anyway, we were getting off track. Still, it's not pleasant hearing that someone from your school got murdered. A student from my school. In that sense, the victim is one who had been closest to us. What did that mean? It means Sarika was trying to kill Arimura and saw the wrong girl. She just saw a uniform, blonde, stabbed her. It's really late. Yeah. Come to think of it, it's almost November. Is the Restoration Festival next week? Yeah. Even if this case, and the last one, had nothing to do with the other murders, I was starting to think that maybe that didn't mean that the Return of New Generation Madness was over. At first I thought that Riko Haida was responsible for all of them. No, I'd only been convinced of that because of the terror I'd felt after being attacked. But after I'd calmed down, it felt like there were things I couldn't explain if she was doing this on her own. See, now you're being nice and cute. It's nice. You think you're being nice? And there was that underground lab, too.
Yeah. When you talk like that, we like you. This is one of those times where we think you're the cutest. Okay, you're not the cutest. Mr. Neelix is the cutest. But you're cute. Yeah, you're being cute and nice, and we like you. Oh, you're being such a good birdie. Yeah, see? You just gotta chirp like this, and we won't tell you to shut the fuck up, and then we hate you. I don't really hate you. I hate that. I hate the screaming, not you. But you make the screaming, so therefore it's just easier to say I hate you, but I don't hate you. I hate your screaming. You're not too bad. You're actually all right. We kind of like you a little. Yeah. We say good night, I love you, when we go to bed. Yeah, because when you're like this, we do. We really like you a lot. Yeah, because you're being cute. Well, you're being so cute now. If you just stop the screaming. It's the screaming that I hate, not you. I hate the screaming. I hate that noise. It grates on my nerves. And like when you do that kind of screaming, that's okay because it's in the midst of your chirping and it's just like scream chatters, which is totally okay because it's not the goddamn obnoxious screaming that you do. It's this is the chatter scream, which is like, you know, it's still like you hear it and you're like, okay, no, you're just chirping. It's fine. I don't think it would bother me like it wouldn't tweak me a little. It wouldn't like set me on edge a little when he's and he makes the screaming kind of noise in the chattering. If he didn't just scream constantly some days for hours. But because when he does that, it'd be like, okay, whatever. He's just chirping, chattering over there. It's when he screams consistently and then you're like, oh my God. So then when he makes the little screams in his chirps, you're like, oh, that's not, okay, no, you're fine. Like, you're like, starting to get on edge. Anyway. If an organization big enough to make something like the lab was involved, Riko Haida might just have been the tip of the iceberg. Unfortunately, the police hadn't gotten any useful information out of her, so there was no way of knowing if she was connected to something bigger or not.
Even if she was responsible, we didn't know why she'd committed her murders on the same day as the New Generation Madness. Was it some kind of message? Was it to make more sensation? To make it more sensational? I mean, I don't think we ever did figure that out, did we? Like, they're always happening around the thing, and she was being mind controlled, but like, was she being mind controlled to be there and set the fire? Like, was it? Because that's right. They were always going to pin it on her. That's why. Originally they were going to pin it on her until they pinned it on me. They were going to pin it on her, so having her set the fires around would make it more like, oh, she did do the murders and could see there were fires and she... Okay, that's right. So that makes sense. I was like, we didn't really explain why she was doing it. But, right. That makes it a little easier to pin it on her. We're like, see, there was a murder here and there were fires here and you did the fire. Okay. Either way, if there was something bigger behind her, we'd already been a target once. Maybe we couldn't relax just yet. Come on. What? Suddenly somebody grabbed both my cheeks, bring me back to my senses. I've been talking to you for a while now, and you haven't been listening. Oh, sorry, what were we talking about? We were talking about going to the festival together. Oh, yeah, I see. Sure. Jeez, it's a promise, okay? Oh, she's totally hitting on us. She let go of my cheeks, and then gently rubbed them. I felt kind of embarrassed. Anyway, my house is that way. Oh, should I walk you home? There was that murder yesterday. And then the thing with the stairs before it. Of course, I was a little worried too, but as a man, it was time to show off. No, it's fine. I'll stick to the busy roads. But tell her you're worried about her. Suddenly, Artie Murrah leaned up, and I felt something soft on my cheek. Oh my god, did she just kiss us? By the time I realized it was her lips, she had already pulled away. Adios, gracias. Before I could say something, she'd smiled, said her goodbye, and vanished into the crowd. That's what you do. You give a boy a kiss on the cheek, and then you run away so that you're like, you don't have to deal with the reaction. I was suddenly overcome by the idea that she was going to vanish forever. I drove the unpleasant thought from my head and headed for home, feeling just a little excited. Oh my god, we totally like her. I could still feel a soft warmth on my cheek. She totally digs us. Oh my god. We're going to stop here, so... Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.